What is up, everybody? Eddie Soundhead back once again here with Soundhead Entertainment, doing another predictions video, moving up a series today because, of course, the Xfinity Series Championship will be decided tonight, Saturday night, and it is the second of 3 championship races to take place this weekend because it's that wonderful time of year once again. So we're going to go in depth like we did yesterday with the Truck Series, and we are going to try and decipher who could possibly win the championship tonight at Homestead Miami Speedway. So let's start, as always, with talking about who we're driving as. We have Cole Custer driving for Stewart Haas Racing in the 00 Ford Mustang. Now, he's had a decent season for himself. He has 1 win. Nothing too spectacular, but enough to get himself locked into the Final Four pretty easily. He's got 1 win, 13 top 10s, which I would say is pretty impressive. And, only had 3 DNFs. So he had a decent season. This is a pretty lopsided Final Four. We'll get to that in a little bit. But I would say that Cole Custer is probably one of the top 2 guys in this Final Four for the Xfinity Series Championship. And who can forget what he did last year at Homestead? He put a whooping on the field. He was he was class of the field all day, and he beat him by a huge margin, almost an unheard of margin in today's era. So, yeah, if Cole Custer shows up to the track with a setup like he had last year and a car like he had last year, things could very well go his way, and he could very easily be the champion, because I don't think anybody would have anything for him if he comes back like he did last year. So let's go ahead and move on to the next driver. Next up, we have Tyler Reddick driving the number 9 Camaro for Junior Motorsports. And of course, he has the 1 win this year. He won the season opener at Daytona with that insane photo finish with Elliott Sadler. It was the closest finish in NASCAR history. And that is his only win on the 2018 Xfinity Series season. He has top 5s. He's only got 6 top 5s. So not a great, outstanding season, but he's been consistent enough to get to the Final Four. And once you get there, you can have a shot. Now, do I think Tyler Reddick really has the strength to beat the other guys right now? I don't. I don't think he does. But as we know, anything can happen. I think Jimmy Johnson taught us a couple years ago that if you're in the right place at the right time, anything can happen. You can walk out of Homestead the champion. So Tyler Reddick, of course, he's eligible. He's there to play. So let's go ahead and move on to our next driver. Of course, we have Daniel Hemrick driving the number 21 for RCR, and it's a very weird situation with Daniel here because he's kind of the underdog in where he has no wins in his NASCAR career up until this point, but he's also kind of not the underdog because he's the overall points leader if you take off the playoff standings. So he has the most points of anybody this season, but no wins. So what does that spell for trying to become the champion in the final race of the season? Well, could he get his first win of his career in one of the most crucial races of it? You never know. It would be quite something to behold if he hit the sort of walk-off win to capture that championship and head into the Cup Series next year, where he will be replacing Ryan Newman at RCR. That would be the dream scenario for Daniel Hemrick, I would assume. But can he do it? It's just, he's been incredibly consistent. He's got 15 top 5 finishes this season, but the goose egg in the win column is just, it's hard to say he's a favorite with that no-win scenario. He could win the championship without winning the race tonight. Somebody who's not in the playoffs could win the race. Daniel Hemrick could finish above the rest of the playoff drivers and win the championship and be a winless champion. Now, a winless champion is not something that's completely unprecedented. It has happened before, albeit before the playoff format came in, but it is something that is possible. And to be completely honest with you, I wouldn't be too surprised to see Daniel Hemrick getting up there and fighting for this championship tonight. He has, decent strength. I wouldn't say he is incredibly strong right now when it comes to sort of power rankings. I would say he's probably right around where Tyler Reddick is. But I also kind of view him in the same light that I do Cole Custer, where given that right car and setup, he could very easily walk away with this championship heading into the Cup Series next year. Now, last, but of course, and quite simply not least, there is the man himself. I think this is probably most people who are in their right minds' favorite to win the championship this year, just based on what we've seen alone, bias aside. It's been unbelievable what Christopher Bell has done. He's actually broken records with his season this year. He's the winningest rookie in a season, winningest rookie in a series. I mean, it's unbelievable what he's done. He has 7 wins, 18 top 5s. It's unbelievable what he's done. Average start 8.8, average finish 11.1, but 6 DNFs as well. So he's going to have to finish this race off and be a strong competitor all throughout the race and be there at the end of it to try and fight off the rest of these guys, because he has got some he doesn't have a bunch of slouches he's going up against. Of course, Cole Custer could be right up there with him, and he could see Daniel Hemrick Friday, and you never know what Tyler Reddick's really capable of. I would say Reddick is definitely the wild card in this entire championship 4. So, do I think Christopher Bell is the favorite? Absolutely. I think Christopher Bell, if I were to just go into this race blindfolded, only knowing the win column of each of these drivers, obviously you're going to pick Christopher Bell. But there is a little bit more to the story. Christopher Bell has been susceptible to accidents. He's been in wrecks. He almost fell to the same fate as Justin Allgaier. Christopher Bell, of course, hit the walk-off win at Phoenix last week, and he locked himself right into the championship 4 at Homestead. So, do I think Christopher Bell is the favorite? Yes. Do I think he's probably the most susceptible to failure? Yes. That is probably something you're not going to hear from a lot of people, but based on my observations, I would say Christopher Bell, this is his race to lose, and he's been good at that lately. So now that we're starting to wind down on this video, let's talk about where I think everybody is going to finish. I will select my final picks, starting in 4th and working my way up to the top with who I think is going to win the championship. So like I said, we will start with position number 4 in the playoffs. Who is going to finish last among the playoff eligible drivers? And that is going to be Tyler Reddick. I think Tyler Reddick is going to finish 4th in the championship standings. He just doesn't have what the rest of the guys have been showing me. I will say this, Tyler Reddick is undoubtedly the wild card in this championship 4. He could just pull off a complete shock win, but he just hasn't shown me anything this season other than the win at Daytona, which is a plate track, unlike any other track that they go to besides Talladega, which neither of those are where we're at today. We're at Homestead Miami Speedway, which is a very different track, and I think that track fits into some other people's wheelhouses better than it does Tyler Reddick. I just don't see Tyler Reddick getting it done. I think he's going to finish 4th overall. So next up, we have position number 3. Who will come home 3rd in the championship standings? I'm going to put Daniel Hemrick. That's where I find Daniel Hemrick fitting into the puzzle. Again, pretty much the same situation, really. Just don't see him having the strength it takes to pull off the upset victory. He could do it. He could not. I don't know. I think if he does win it, I think he's going to have to get kind of lucky. I think that Cole Custer or Christopher Bell are going to have some kind of problem like they did in the gameplay just a moment ago, and maybe he could capitalize on it. But I just don't see him having the speed that the rest of these guys have, and I think he's going to come home 3rd. So then there were 2 left. Once again, here we have Christopher Bell and Cole Custer. One of them will finish 2nd, and one of them will win the championship. So who will it be? Well, I'm going to go with my gut, and this is probably going to shock some people, but I'm going to say Christopher Bell comes home 2nd in the championship standings, and that is right. I know he's been the strongest car all season, but like I said just a little bit ago, I think he's susceptible to failure more than any of the other drivers. And that's, some people are going to say, how can you say that when he just won the last race at Phoenix? Well, I can say that because he crashed out of 2 of the other 3 races that he ran in the last 3 races. So I think that Christopher Bell is going to choke this championship away, and not on his own. I think it's just going to be a fact that the guy in front of him is probably going to run away with it. And that being, of course, Cole Custer. I think Cole Custer's performance last year at Miami was enough alone to probably justify a lot of people picking him to win. He was incredibly strong last year in this race, and I just don't see, if he comes back with a car and a setup like he had then, I just don't see how anybody's going to beat him, because he would just destroy everybody on restarts, on long runs, short runs. Did not matter. Cole Custer was your man last season, and I think he's going to be the man this season. I think Cole Custer is going to win the championship. So that's my picks. Let me know who you guys think is going to win in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.